Hi class, this is Mrs. Erickson and I'm going to give you a lecture today on meiosis. So this is a brand new concept again, so get your binders open to page 58 in your science binders and you're going to take notes. I'll try to lead you through it since I'm not here in the classroom today. Page 58. We start out at the top of the page and it says, what is meiosis? And it sounds a lot like mitosis. So I want to just review quickly about mitosis. Mitosis you studied the last few days, and it happens in all of our body cells. And we talked about prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and then telophase. The end result is two new cells that look exactly like the beginning cell. And all of our body cells have 46 chromosomes in it, or 23 pairs. That's mitosis. Now, at the top of your page, page 58, number 1, it says, what is meiosis? Meiosis, you can write this down, is the forming of sex cells. In other words, the sperm and the egg. Which cells go through meiosis? The answer for number 2, only the reproductive cells go through meiosis. None of your other body cells do. Just your, in animals, the testes and ovaries, and in plants, it would be pollen and ovaries. Just those organs go through meiosis because they're creating the sperm and the egg. Human body cell, I just reviewed earlier, contains 46 chromosomes. I've shown you this before. This is a drawing of our genome, and we have 46 chromosomes. Notice how they are all paired up. One from mom, one from dad, and so forth. And this last pair is called the sex chromosomes because it tells you if you're a male or a female. In this case, it's a male. A female would be XX. So that was number 3. 46 chromosomes, or 23 pairs. Question number 4 at the top of the page, human sex cells contain half the number of chromosomes of their body cells. So this is really unique. You have to remember that in mitosis it ends up with 46 cells, but in meiosis it only ends up with 23. So here's a normal genome of a normal body cell, and here's a genome of a sperm cell and an egg cell. Notice one of them is missing. That's because when the sperm and the egg join, they then create this. So, in meiosis, our end result is half the number of chromosomes. So now we're going to start looking at the left side of page 58. We're going to use a make-believe body cell. This is a body cell now because we're talking about mitosis here, with 4 chromosomes. And we're going to quickly go through the stages of mitosis because I want you to compare the two as we go. So, regular body cell, 4 chromosomes. 1, 2, 3, 4. One for mom, dad. Mom, dad. In mitosis, you have to replicate. And so, 4 chromosomes or 2 pairs become 8. So we're going to have 8 chromosomes, and this is not being shown on your worksheet. So it goes from mitosis at the top with 4 chromosomes to the next picture that has 8 chromosomes. So that is where we're going to start. The picture on the left side that has the 8 chromosomes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What phase, when they're thickened up and paired up, is that called? And of course, that's called prophase. You know what comes next, the picture below it. Phase is metaphase. Below that is anaphase and telophase. So go ahead and fill those in. This is review because this is mitosis. Then at the bottom of that, there's a number 1 that says, how many chromosomes did this cell start with? If you remember right, we started with 4. How many chromosomes did each cell end with? If you look at the picture, they ended with 4. So this was the beginning, and this was the end result. They're identical. That's mitosis. But you're going to see something a little bit different in meiosis. There's only going to be 2 in each cell instead of 4. So now we move over to the right side of the page. In meiosis, it's a little different. It only takes place in the reproductive organs, nowhere else in the body. And to get half that amount of chromosomes, there's got to be 2 divisions this time. So that's a big difference. They're not a whole lot different from mitosis, but there are 2 of them. So let's walk through it. So top of the page, 58, where it says meiosis, prophase 1 is what you're going to label that second picture on the right-hand side. It looks like this. You have 2 white, 2 kind of polka dot, 2 big black ones, and 2 big polka dotted ones. So it's already replicated, and we are in what we call prophase 1 this time because it has to do this twice. So we're going to call it prophase 1. They've paired up, and they've thickened up. So the replicated pairs are together right now. So we call these chromatids. Chromatid, 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 and so forth. The next picture down is titled metaphase 1. So it sounds similar, prophase, metaphase, only you have to put a 1 after it. Now what happens here is a little bit different if you look on the other side from mitosis. They line up in the middle, but they line up with their what we call homologous pairs. So the duplicates line up together in metaphase 1. The duplicate chromatids line up together, homologous pairs. In anaphase 1, it's a little bit different. In mitosis, only 1 chromatid goes to each end. But in meiosis, they stay together. So you've got the sister chromatids, the replicated ones, going off to each side. So that's called anaphase 1. And this is how they're different. They stay together. In telophase 1, yeah, 2 new cells are created, but they don't look exactly like the original cell anymore. You have duplicates with each other. Both of these cells will divide again, but there won't be any replicating this time. There won't be another interphase. There's only 1 interphase at the beginning. So now we have 2 cells that don't look like the original cell, and they still have, though, 4 chromosomes in each, so we got to keep going. So that next phase is called prophase 2. We start it all over again. Nothing much changes in prophase 2 from telophase 1. The chromosomes are still in homologous pairs. They're still in their duplicated pairs. Prophase, metaphase, but now we're in metaphase 2. The homologous pairs line up in the middle. And in anaphase 2, now finally the homologous pairs get separated, so they start to get pulled apart. These are the duplicate chromatids now that are getting pulled apart in anaphase 2. And at the very bottom, the last picture, telophase 2 is what you would label that, and the formation of the sex cells, or in other words, the sperm and the egg. So you have just 2 chromosomes now in each cell instead of the original 4. And that's because now if this was an egg, for instance, it would unite with a sperm that had 2 in it, and now you would get the 4 chromosomes. The end result of meiosis is 4 eggs or sperm and half the number of chromosomes in each one, whereas in mitosis you have 1 cell with everything in it. So half the number of chromosomes in the sex cells, only 2 instead of 4. So mitosis and meiosis in a human. So if this is our body, this is the female, this is the male. The female produces an egg with half the number of chromosomes. So there's only 23 in here instead of 46. Same with the sperm. They unite in what we call fertilization, and they create a zygote. Now this should look familiar because now it's got 46 chromosomes in it. Well, normal mitosis happens while the baby forms. So mitosis happens over and over and over until the baby is full term, and in humans that's 9 months, and you have a baby. When the baby matures and is old enough to reproduce on their own, depending if it's a male or a female, then in the ovaries and the testes it will go through meiosis. So, how many chromosomes are in sex cells compared to other cells? I hope you know the answer to this. It is half the number. So humans have 46, so in meiosis we end up with 23. Every organism has different number of organisms, or different number of chromosomes. What type of cell is formed because of meiosis? I hope your answer was sex cells. A sperm and or an egg is formed because of meiosis. As an embryo forms, again, mitosis occurs as the embryo forms. We'll talk about this more when I return, but I hope you got your page filled in and you stopped the video when you needed to stop it so that you could catch up and make sense of things. Please try to use this as homework tonight and understand the phases of meiosis. Thanks and have a good day.